another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Skullgirls is finally coming to Linux. Quit laughing. They're super serial about it. This time, Metroid comes to Steam. You hear that, Mr. Happ? That's the sound of Nintendo's lawyers. And 80% off a 2K game can only mean one thing. Virtual programming, baby.
Quintet lets you take control of your own starship. Unfortunately, you're going to need friends to play, which of course you don't have. Want to look like an idiot swinging around a Wiimote? Well, Facebook doesn't want to let you. And Limit Load has a very arduous compile process. And the game still doesn't run well under Linux. Like shit, even.
Windward sheds the last of its early accesses. Now you too can pretend to be a pirate of the Unity seas. Work has started on PlayOnLinux 5. It'll be built on the world's most advanced programming language. Facebook announces the specs of the Windows PC you'll need for the Oculus Rift. Someone better pick up that phone, because I fucking called it.
I'm Vince Stone here at LGC Actual, joined every week by the massive Swang up in Canada land.
Hello.
And all the way from Space Portugal, Pedro
Hi.
Mateus. You know him, and together with Chat Realm Dynamic joining us live, we form a bit of a cocaine Voltron. So, before we get started, we always like to see what's going on in each other's lives, organs. I made the mistake of buying Metroid on Steam. Well, no, it's called Axiom something, but it's really Metroid, and I just bought it, and I was like, this is going to be bullshit. It's $20. I'm not going to, 7 hours later. Apparently, I really enjoyed Metroid as a child. What's up, P-Baby?
No, that's the wrong P-bit. No, there we go. Yeah,
I am Pedro Mateus. What are you talking about? You're the imposter.
Yes, I am. But yeah, there was not a whole lot of gaming happening here this week because we actually got a whole bunch of new clients at the company, so it's been busy. Very busy.
Oh, yes. Yes, you go complain to me about busy. I pulled like 3 13-hour days at work this week. Go fuck yourself, Pedro.
Okay, I had one 14-hour day. That was it.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. My nipples weep for you, Pedro. But you know whose nipples also weep? Kloinka, because, like the horse, he's getting beat to death. It's our Steam Lex update of the week. Yeah, no, beat to death by taxes. Jeez.
What?
Digital goods imported. My God. The Australian government is apparently aching for cash, and so they've decided to levy a 10% tax on digital goods purchases, slated to make them bet $350 million in the coming year. And I just feel sorry for guys like Kloinka or Yaspoon in Chat Realm, because they're getting it up the butt with the taxes.
Man. I mean, it was like one of the first thoughts I have was we have quite a large contingent of people from Space Australia that listen to the show because it's Sunday's favorite midday drinking show. But this is like the 10% because fuck you tax. It's supposed to protect local retailers of digital goods, ?
Yes.
They call it the Intangible Digital Imports Tax, which, funnily enough, is the name for my Guano Apes cover band. But they are calling it the Netflix tax. And yeah, it applies for companies trying to sell digital goods in U.S. soil, like foreign companies.
Because, you know, so many people are still selling VHSs and DVDs in stores in Australia. And also people actually go into stores to buy PC games, because that's totally a thing that happens ever.
Yeah, that makes
places
sense.
in Narnia. I don't fucking know. I really just feel sorry for these guys in Australia, because they already have to pay more by virtue of living in Space Australia, and now they just get taxed on for literally bullshit. It is pointless.
Well,
it serves no purpose to stimulate the Australian economy whatsoever.
It might have been like Photoshop or some other video or image software editing package a few years back, where it was actually cheaper to fly to the States, spend a week there, pick it up, and come back than actually purchase it.
That was Photoshop. You're actually right. It's insane the amount of money they have to pay for software in Space Australia. But you know it's also an insane amount of money? Axiom Verge.
Well, you know,
That's not cheap.
What is it? You never heard of it. And let me tell you about it. Explore and uncover the mystery of surreal alien world by blasting aliens, glitching your environment in this intense, retro, side-scrolling action. Oh my god, it's Metroid. Actually, yeah, it looks a bit like Metroid, doesn't it?
Just a bit.
Just a bit, you know, yeah. It was one of our boss fights. I think J-Man was like,
no. Yeah, I was a bit skeptical. I was like, yeah, it's kind of Metroid-ish. And then I saw the boss fight. I was like, okay, that's fucking Metroid.
That's what I was looking at. And I was curious because this game's got all this hype around it. And I'm looking at the video right now. Ooh, I don't have that
Flip
one.
actually helped port this.
Yeah, and yeah, even down to the teleporters. There's a boss fight right there going on. And to be perfectly fair, it doesn't look like Metroid on the NES. It looks a bit more like Super Metroid with your standard hipster pixel of like, this is what I think pixels look like. And they didn't.
Because they're square and not rectangles.
I know. But, but, the price on Brad, look at this. 19.9 wet stinky caches.
20 space bucks.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. It
bit.
may be great, but it's a bit steep.
Well, that seems
another
to be
Metroidvania.
one of the common complaints in the forum organs is, I was like, this looks like a neat game, but the only reason it has this price is because of the hype behind it. And even though I bought it because we got to buy it and we got to take a look at it and all that, I completely agree with that.
Correction. Empty just corrected me in chat. Flibbit just fixed FNA for a couple of their issues. He didn't actually do the port. The game is FNA proper, so yeah.
Yep. And you can tell that it's not a Flibbit port because if you look at the system requirements, it actually says Ubuntu 14.04.2 LTS and not glibcos 215. But yeah, I was looking at the system requirements earlier and I saw DualShock 4 or X input controller recommended. It actually recommends a DualShock 4 controller. Someone needs to divide by 0.
I mean, if it's an FNA port, then yeah, that fucking DualShock's gonna work because Flibbit seems to love that controller enough to get the light bars working on there and the
touchpad. And if you're looking at it, at first I was like, God, it kind of looks like Metroid. Then I glitched my way into a hidden level. Then it went scan lines, and that looks really familiar if you're old or you like to play on NES emulators. It even loads like the old Metroid did, with the screens taking a while to move in from side to side.
Yeah,
absolutely sauce on that. Some bit, calling it inspired. That's been really nice about it. It's a fun game. Here's what I want to get out. Here's what I want to get out. Is I picked it up just like, I'll play around with it. Maybe we'll do a little players of it or something like that on the show. 7 hours later.
Well, really, again, it could be fun for all I know, but it could really use 80% off.
Oh man.
Oh yes.
Spec Ops.
Oh yes.
Third-person modern military design to challenge players' morality. And we were looking forward to this because, well, we don't have morals. So we thought it might be kind of an interesting thing to, like, oh, how is this going to work for us? But apparently you do the pew, 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 and you put it in, like, some bullshit situations where you have to make hard choices, which means you just kill the kids. You're done with it. Get it over with. And it was 80% off, so it was like $5. And
where have we seen that before?
Well, when you see something $5, so it's like 75 or 85% off, it should trigger something in the back of your brain organ, and that's a virtual programming port using Eon technology, which is kind of like wine, except more busted. And yeah, that's what you got.
And higher system requirements.
Oh,
that's
no, double.
Considerably.
Double system requirements.
Speaking of system requirements, what exactly does this mean? Because if you look at the SteamOS plus Linux tab, and you read the video card, NVIDIA/AMD OpenGL 4.1/OpenGL level 3.2 compatible video RAM 512 megabytes. What the fuck?
I smell toast. So let me get this straight. So if you have an NVIDIA card, you need it to support OpenGL 4.1, but if you have an AMD card, it has to support OpenGL 3.2, or does it have to only support OpenGL 4.1 or 3. Yeah, that's toast.
Motherfucker.
I'll tell you what it actually means is if you want to play it with your AMD and the open source drivers, you might as well just run it in Wine. A, because it runs better, and B, because it actually mothering works. But from just looking through the forums, and like one of the pin forum topics I saw was like, please report why this doesn't work on your Mac, which is what it should read. It just doesn't. Because this is from virtual programming, the people who have been releasing busted Mac ports for years, and now they're on Linux. This port suffers, what I've been reading in the forums, from stuttering, crappy mouse, sound just noping, especially on Ubuntu
1504 is the new one, yeah.
Right. And just general spite crashes. I know FreeJack, I think he had some issues with it, same issues he had with Bioshock Infinite, which was also a VP port. He suffered with this, but let me gather around. Let me explain to you why virtual programming keeps getting our business. It's coming back to what I originally said. If you've ever wondered why, The Witcher, Bioshock Infinite, and this Ops game were all 75 to 80% off, well, you got to think about this. You're going to spend £5 on a 30 quid title, and your brain organ's going to tell you something, Brad, it is. It's going to say to you, hey, we just made out like bandits. So if it works, it's a bonus, but if it doesn't, we're only out a few quid. And what you really got to think about that. Ironically, that's going to cut down on people complaining because you're like, yeah, well, the port, it was a steal. I don't really care about it. It might work one day. I didn't spend a lot of money on it. Then you have round 2 coming in. The people who didn't catch the sale, and they're like, how much is this thing again? Wait a minute. $29.99. Then they're going to come over to the forums and like, oh, wait, and that doesn't work very well under Linux, so maybe I will not purchase it. For that, they're not going to buy it. Now this is the brilliant marketing thing VP has put together. They can show that they shipped X amount of that copy at 75 to 80% off, and really no one complained because Camp A is sitting there going, it might work one day, don't care, spend $5. And Camp B is like, I don't fucking buy it, man, so maybe if I get a green light and say it's going to work. And then they're going to use that to say, our porting tech is a fraction of the cost of Aspire or Feral, who actually do native ports that work and get the job done. And they're going to wash, rinse, and mothering repeat this shit until you stop buying their shit. So quit complaining about it if you buy it.
It's not going to happen either. The community has spoken. They don't care as long as it works. But they don't realize one of the biggest draws to Linux gaming is the fact that you can run this shit on crappy old hardware. But if you want to play stuff like Spec Ops or Witcher, even though they're relatively new games, on Windows you could play them on old, moderately powerful systems, or even on medium or low, and still have a reasonable experience. With virtual programming, you cannot do that, period, on Linux.
Unless, of course, you're someone like Strykor on Shadowrealm right now, which keeps sucking so much virtual programming cock, I have to wonder how his tongue hasn't fallen off. But moving on. Windward.
It's because he's French,
finally out of early access. And it is... Well, it's actually shaping up to be my favorite game of 2015 on Linux. Unless, of course, Feral comes out and actually releases Shadow of Mordor. Get on it, please.
Shut up. Shut up. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, let's go back to Windward for a sec. It's a skirmish. It's got an isometric view, and you sail a ship around procedurally generated map, obviously. And you have to do some quests for towns, help the towns grow, get a better ship, get better stuff in general. And it was originally released in a beta long before it ever came to Steam in 2009. It made it through early access.
We talked about this a while ago, too.
Yeah, it's a Unity game, but it works stupidly well under Linux. Really can't complain with that one. The only thing I can and probably will complain about is the price. Because it's $14.99 when it's not on sale. So you may.
Well,
wanna keep
here's
that
something
in mind.
I want to know if they fixed it, because I remember we played this before he did a Kickstarter and said, well, I need $100,000 to finish this. And everyone went, the game's already done, Brad, and you don't need $100,000 to finish this. And apparently it was, because then it went on early access now. But I couldn't get the full name of my ship as SS Turbo Cocksmasher 9000. It wouldn't fit. It just showed SS Turbo. Really irritated me. Virtually
I
unplayable.
honestly don't know what the char limit is on that one.
I don't know. You can always submit a bug report. I don't know. 15 bucks is sort of at the edge of what I'm willing to pay for a game like this. But yeah, I remember having fun playing it back when we covered
P-Man,
it.
it was
It is.
multiplayer, right?
It does have multiplayer, and it is a genuinely simple and fun game, at least for me.
It's
my
Diablo
opinion.
with boats. It is Diablo with boats.
It is.
And, you know-
It is.
All right.
Yeah.
Invisible.
All right, this is Invisible Ink. Yeah. So this is from Clay, the guys who brought us Don't Starve Together, Mark of the Ninja, and LeShank. And this is a turn-based, stealth-focused game where you have to go infiltrate and complete various goals. Now, this game kind of tickled me, because looking at the screenshots and looking at the trailer, it really reminds me of a highly stealth-focused Shadowrun Returns. And I really like Shadowrun Returns.
Glad it wasn't just me who noticed that.
Yeah. Well, it's that isometric turn-based strategy thing. So, I mean, lots of games use it, but the art style here looks very, very similar. Or not the art style, at least the color palette for sure.
Yeah,
Anyways,
the palette, definitely.
and I thought, okay, I'm gonna pick this up. But then I scroll down and I look at the price, $20 for this. Now that is definitely outside my range of what I'm willing to pay for a game. That's so. I would totally wait for this to go on sale.
It uses new technology, Jordan, that doesn't require an operating system. If you look right here, minimum.
It's brilliant. It doesn't even require glibc.
You take a processor,
astounding.
you wrap some RAM around it, tape another video card to it.
You forgot the heat lotion.
You always need heat lotion to make it work properly.
That's what binds things together. No, I was looking at the game, and I looked at the logo at the top right there, and I'm like, that character design looks familiar. Oh, that's right. It's made by the same people who brought you Shank and Mark of the Ninja, because that's what the characters look like.
I said that, yes.
I don't have a lot to
anyways.
say for it. I mean, for the price, I'm not terribly price sensitive. I'm price sensitive versus what you're going to get out of it, and this has the magic note word for me, turn-based strategy. Mixed with cyberpunk, indie, and stealth, you can actually hear me running out of the room going, no, Doppler effect.
See, I'm on the fence
Which is
about
amazing
this,
because I started stationary and I created the Doppler effect. Science bitches, fuck off.
Yeah, for me, it looks like I might enjoy it. I'm on the fence about it, but I don't want to pay $20 to find out if I will. Anyways, up next, Quintet.
Speaking of... Oh, no, we
so-
still have Quintet first.
Yes. So this is kind of cool. We actually covered a game like this a while ago, the name of which I cannot remember, where you basically had it provided a bunch of live CDs. You popped them into computers, and each of you, you pretended to captain...
Who's gonna die first?
Powers,
I don't know.
it's the pink shirt, because she's a red shirt. No, but you build it, you get a ship, you get some friends, and then you control it. One of you gets to be Kirk, one of you gets to be Spock, one of you gets to be Sulu, and one of you gets to be Uhura, which means you stand aside, do nothing, and look pretty. But it's priced to sell. It's cheap as free. However, if you want
Wait a
to
minute,
get access
Brad.
to scenarios, oh yeah, no, you gotta pay for the DLC.
It's free for that low price of 24.98, which I'm curious. You've done a little bit of braining on it. Does that mean free to I can play this game free? All right, now I got to spend $24.98.
Yeah, I actually meant to play it this week. Life conspired against me to do this or to get that done, so I didn't really get a chance. I'm actually curious if it is genuinely playable without the DLC. I guess I need to find some friends and set up a LAN, and but system requirements are reasonable. You don't even need an operating system. You don't even need a video card. You just need a processor with some RAM jammed into it and a 56K
And some
modem.
Cat 5 wrapped around it to hold it all together.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Wrap it in bacon, deep fry it, and you're good. You can play Quintet. But up next, Pedro's gonna show us his decks.
Giggity.
Yes. And the game you were thinking of, Jordan, was actually Artemis. But this
that's
is
the one.
Dex. And they describe it as a non-linear 2D side-scrolling open world cyberpunk RPG. You know, you name 2 more and you get a bite-sized Snickers. But okay, to be perfectly honest, and in the way of disclosure, Jan Jerkovsky sent us some keys for the game. Thank you.
Is that his actual name? Jerkovsky?
I'm pretty sure it's not pronounced Jerkovsky. I just had to. But he did send us some keys.
I hope for his
Thanks
sake
for
it's
that.
Jerkovsky.
And so if you'd like to watch us throw some chairs at it, bug vent during the week on Google+, maybe we'll get around to it, maybe not. But it is like they
look
describe.
at this.
It's a 2D.
That's bait right there.
You can't have women in video games.
It does have a female protagonist, but it is, as far as I could tell, a very good female protagonist. She's kind of a blank slate because the player has to, at least on some level, identify with her in order to actually call the game an RPG.
Pedro,
They really like the word critical. Critical update.
Let me get this straight, Pedro. She's a good female protagonist because she shuts up and does what you say. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Dig
I
yourself out of that
qualified
hole.
the statement.
I'm pretty sure that's what you're
wasn't
saying. Send your hate mail to
qualifier.
Liam at gamingonlinux.com.
But yeah, the game actually came out on Linux a couple of weeks ago. There were a couple of bugs that made it so that the game wasn't exactly playable, but there's the critical update for Mac and Linux. They fixed some of the hacking and pausing exploits that people kind of ran into, and fixed a couple of bugs with some quests, and did some general optimizations. It should be fully playable now. I've actually downloaded and installed the game, just haven't had a chance to start it yet.
19.99 wet stinky caches, and I'm thinking, there better be some playtime in that. And I mean, good on them. They sent us the keys for it, so we'll eventually. I actually, here's a true story. When I saw Dex, I thought it was that side-scrolling lizard game that I wasn't going to pay fucking 20 quid for. So I started downloading it, then I clicked on the store page, and I was like, oh, no, cancel. Just saying.
One thing, because I played about half an hour of it today. The game works reasonably well, controller works out of the box. The walk cycle animations are a bit weird. It makes the main character kind of look like Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. One thing they really do need to fix.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
What? No, the block
right?
button does not work. If you get into a melee combat, you basically have to jump over the guy and run out of the way, let him attack you, and then run up and punch him, because you can't block. It says hold down right trigger to block. I held down the right trigger, and I got my ass kicked, so...
Well, one thing you're definitely not going to be able to block, and that's our news segment. Coming up next, ready for your face organ, and it's just as hot and kicky.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for your regular, good old Linuxy news. And this week, we have something that is very hard to believe.
Oh boy, do we have something to announce. Skullgirls, they've actually said it. Let's read this. Happy to finally say this definitely. Mac Linux versions of Skullgirl are officially happening, and not by volunteers, admitting they fucked that up, not quote-unquote if, but quote-unquote when.
Brought to you by Virtual Programming.
Go. I want to stab you in the taint with a stale Dorito. Just
now I'm going to be expecting the surprise Dorito taint.
You're just going to have to pay extra for it at the end of the day. If you don't know what we're talking about, Skullgirls is a fighting game that they started out. It was a Indiegogo project, and this wasn't even for the game. The game was already out. They're like, we're going to add this new character, but if you support us on Indiegogo, we promise you we're going to make a Linux port. And this was like 2-3 years ago. And they never did, Brad. And
how much did they make again?
About $2 or $3. I mean, it wasn't anything.
It was about $350.
About $350. And it was like, okay, it'll eventually come. You see, that's one of the aspects of the Linux gaming community I have no use for. It's like, okay, we'll just wait, and maybe that we'll get a thing. No. Then finally, after a year or two, we were like, sup, Brad, where's this port? And it got to a bit of a fever on their Steam page where they went, shit, I was hoping you were going to forget about that. We're going to get a volunteer to do it. And
his name is Renault.
That first volunteer, nope. The second volunteer, I believe, nope. The third volunteer, yep. I don't know how to Skullgirls, Brad. And now, finally, in their super serial, they're going to give it to somebody who will port it. And Jordan, if you're right, you. Eon, man, they're generous with their time and their money. They're going to put Skullgirls playable on only 50% of Linux systems. It's great. It's awesome. It's brilliant. P-Man, what is Skullgirls? I've never heard of it. Is it a fighting game?
Skullgirls is one of those, the usual 2D arcade-style fighting games, which there is a severe lack of in the Linux ecosystem, which would be nice.
It's in the style of Guilty Gear.
If it actually came out, it would be awesome. But they're actually saying that we can't say who's working on the Mac Linux versions of Skullgirls or when it's coming out, but we'll let you know as soon as we can. And Jordan was like in the notes, like virtual programming. But yes. I'm actually more inclined to believe that it is Aspire. Mostly because Farrell's busy with a shit ton of AAA games that they need to get out quickly.
And they never will.
And they're hiring new people.
Yeah, they're hiring new people because of that. But my money says it's Aspire. And they did this. They want to keep it a secret because if Lab Zero actually backs out on the port again and the shitstorm hits, Aspire doesn't want to be front and center. They don't want to get dragged down with Lab Zero.
This is where I believe your argument falls apart because I don't believe Aspire works on we'll port your game, then you give us the money. I think they're a bit more astute business than that. They'd have to give the money over. But this was something that was very interesting because they said, we can't say who. And I actually replied them. And I was like, how again does this Moon reverse NDA work? Because we've been under NDA where we can't talk about something. But since when can a company that's hired somebody to port a game not talk about the company they're hired? That actually frighteningly lends credibility to what J-Man said, because if it was Eon, people would go, and shitstorms would be had by all. But
that's good stuff. No, so do you want to pretend to be a Jedi? Do you want to put a thing on your face and wave a sticker and pretend that you're deflecting bullets? Well, you can't anymore. This was actually a cool little thing that popped up on the Oculus forums, where someone is working on Oculus Rift support for Dolphin, the Wii U, or not the Wii U, the Wii GameCube emulator. And I thought to myself, that would actually be kind of interesting if you played like No More Heroes with the Wiimote. You have the DK2 headset on, and that it would really get you into it. That would sort of be what the Wii was trying to do from the outset with that type of game. But someone from the Dolphin Project complained, and this got taken down literally like 2 days after this showed up in our show notes. So There's that. There was some talk about forking it and going off somewhere else. I didn't really read too far on the forums because... But anyways, thoughts?
Actually, I don't think there's going to be an issue with that, because if you want to buy the official Oculus, when it comes out next year after Steam's version... Yeah. You're going to have issues, Brad.
Oh, yes.
Severe issues. So you may remember a couple of months, about half a year ago.
Oh, God. I can actually feel the smug building here. It's like that South Park episode.
No. We reported on Facebook acquiring Oculus. And I, at the time, said, this is Facebook we're talking about. What the hell is going to happen to the Linux compatibility of Oculus? Yeah, it's not coming anytime soon from the look of it, because Mr. Atman Binstock just came out and said, so these are the requirements for the Windows PC you'll need in order to run the final VR headset.
Which is just called the Oculus.
This is the Oculus, yeah. And then on the couple last paragraphs, our development for OS X and Linux has been paused in order to focus on delivering a high-quality, consumer-level VR experience I don't give a fuck about anymore.
Here's my thing. I'm not saying that I called this before P-Man, but I totally called this before P-Man did. Soon as Carmack joined the team. Now, if you're old and decrepit like me, you're thinking, but Carmack loves the Linux. He never really did. There was one guy at id at the time who really enjoyed Linux and Unix and all that, and that's why we got a lot of those ports. He's no longer with the company. But I get why they're not doing Mac, because there's not a MacBook Pro with 2 USB 3.0 ports that could run this or would have the video horsepower. And your only other option is that 2-year-old trash can looking thing that's inflated like 5 times the price for half the performance that nobody bought. On Linux, however, this is just simple bullshit. I mean, maybe, here's the way I kind of want to think about it, is that, you know, when Valve and the HTC and the Vive and the Vives came out, they going, oh shit, they're shipping. And I'm like, yep, we're shipping. And everyone says ours is better. And we have SteamOS. YOLO, but I think you thought it was kind of a, like, SteamOS, you say.
It could be. The thought crossed my head. I said, you know what? It might be, oh yeah, you guys are trying to push this Linuxy SteamOS nonsense. Yeah, we're just not going to support it. Yeah, we're not going to give any more credence to your platform. Wanna get some VR on? You got to be on WinBra. Bra. I don't know. I really stopped caring about the Oculus, much like Pedro said when Facebook acquired it. A lot of people did. This went from like the really cool crowdfunded power to the people VR tech that a faceless corporation just scooped up and is now. I don't even know what they're doing with it. They've been notoriously quiet on it. Valve has at least been making
and as
some
far as you know, testing has happened on both the Oculus Rift and the HTC Revive from Valve. People have been saying that the Revive is actually a hell of a lot better than the Oculus when it comes to motion sickness.
Just the Vive.
And
it's one of the things about the Vive is it allows you to move around spatially, which everyone I've talked to that's used the actual damn thing says, oh, yep, you just wait. And these are people that I'm like, all right, if you said that, maybe I will be convinced to wear shit on my head once again.
And hell, at this point, if this does anything, is make me want to buy a Vive out of spite.
It could happen, but J-Man blew his load.
Oh, yes. Limit load. This is a piloting game, or it would be. It says it runs under Linux, and I guess technically that's true. So let me sit on Uncle Jordan's lap. It's story time.
Tell us a story, Uncle Jordan.
Yeah, you know, sit on my lap. Don't mind the pointy bit there. It's fine. Just ignore it. Shh. No. So what happened was I decided, since no one was talking about the story in the show notes, I had to give this a whirl. So I looked for a download link, and I looked around the page. There's no download. If I scroll down a wee bit, scrolling, download 0.19 for Windows. This includes the source for Linux. Okay, so I guess I have to compile it. Could you? Number one, this is my first problem. Could you not just include a source-only package for people who want to build it themselves? That would make sense. I don't know. I don't want to download a Windows binary that I'm just going to end up having to delete anyways. And you do actually have to delete all the Windows shit in that zip in order for the makefile to run. So here is a high-level overview of what I had to do to get this actually compiled. Number one, if you just go in there, run make, you get some weird cryptic errors. So you open up the README. Oh, here's a bunch of system requirements. Pygame, blah, blah, blah. Cool. And you need something called Panda 3D because this game makes me a sad panda. So it's not available on, like, if your distribution is open source only, you have to go grab it from them. They only provide a Git link. So you go, you pull it out, You build it. They give you like some literally 20-line long configuration command to actually get Panda 3D configured. You have to patch it too. They provide a patch for you because something in the audio subsystem for that is completely borked under Linux for their game. So these guys, awesome. So build Panda. You have to go in. You have to switch one of the deployment configuration files from Windows, which uses all the Visual Studio hooks, to Linux. Yeah, no, we're getting somewhere with this. You then run make. Oh, it fails because all of the shell scripts it tries to run don't have executable permissions because it's a zip. Set them all to zip. It finally runs 7 minutes later. Run it, and it runs at 4 whole fucking frames a second on a 980, completely unplayable. Good job, guys.
The aristocrats. All right.
That's my story.
Crazy as this is, PlayOnLinux. Oh, yeah.
The year of 5.
What happened to you, man? We just claimed that you got to be cool again, but nope.
Yeah. Just last week, we were actually defending PlayOnLinux. Hey, this makes managing wine prefixes so much easier. These guys are workable. And now they've gone and said that they're starting work on the new version, which is going to be built on Java. Not ladies and gentlemen, it's
not Java.
2015.
Python, the Java implementation of Python.
Yeah.
Well, why is that a bad thing,
whatever
Jay,
they
man?
call
It sounds like a brilliant solution.
Because you want to run an interpreted language in a virtual machine that's also running an interpreted language. It's a bit brilliant, you
Well,
guys.
one thing I do want to ask you, Jay, man, is would this require me to install even OpenJDK, a JRE runtime, on my desktop in 2015?
You bet your sweet bippy it does.
But wouldn't that be a horribly bad idea?
No, it's great because they can target Mac as well. PlayOnLinux, yes. on
and
Mac,
even Windows, if they ever want to, play on Windows, why not?
Well, Wine on Sigwin or Wine on Sigwin exists, so yes.
Yeah, but you actually posted that in the notes, and I'm like, yeah. That's what's going to happen. People are just going to fork it.
I don't even know. I mean, Stratus and Shad, I think this is a brilliant opportunity for him to also jump on Java to maintain feature compatibility.
feature parity, release.
Parity, that was the English word I was looking for. Reading through this, now, unfortunately, French listeners, that means that they're going to do this no matter what. I mean, yeah, that's the whole thing. Non-native toolkit, it's going to look like ass, and why didn't you use Qt? Is really what I want.
Because it's not cute, that's why.
And Strider's in chat realm right now, and he's saying, PlayOnLinux fork is called Lutris. Lutris.net, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, shit, son. French just dropped French. I mean,
French people. French fight!
Crepes were had at that situation. But
oh, shit, son.
That
got real.
That's what I'm saying, man. No, I mean, if you wonder, I don't know what Lutris is. Why don't you explain it? It is very easily put as like a wrapper. So you want to install a wine game. Boom, you install this. It's going to pull down the libs and all that. It's got some scripting built into it, and boom, you can usually just play. Much like Lutris, which I need to check out, because, if they go Java, I'm not going to run it, because I'm never, ever going to do a how-to that starts off with, let's install Java on a mothering desktop in 2015.
Yeah, and Lutris actually does a hell of a lot more than just wine games. Say, emulators... even old, really old Linux games.
Didn't they get that old repository of the old PC MAME games from Library of Congress or some shit? Or archive.org? Yeah. Lutris is basically a make games work on Linux program. Strider does an excellent job. You should check it out. And he's French, so don't blame him too hard for, I don't know, whenever everything breaks. But it's time to get on our fixie bicycles, drink our Pabst Blue Ribbons, and punch some trees.
Well, let's talk about TrueCraft, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, hang on, let me put this down here. I'm sorry, I was just drinking my PBR. Hipstercraft, TrueCraft, what is it? An open source implementation of Minecraft Beta 173, a completely clean room implementation of Minecraft Beta because, well, the author missed the old myths. I don't even know what I said. Misses the old day of Minecraft when it was a simple game. It was nearly perfect. Most of what Mojang had added since Beta 173 is fluff. Live support for a game that was quote-unquote done years ago, and this is my attempt to get back at the original spirit of Minecraft.
I don't know. I kind of agree with him on that. All the latest additions to Minecraft, like Hunger and Pets and whatnot. I liked it when it was just kind of a sandbox game. I can totally see where this guy's coming from, and it's his prerogative to go and create an entirely clean room implementation of it.
I completely feel you with that. I mean, my first thought was like, oh, great. We need... Absolutely. I was just asking myself, because I talked to myself and asked questions the other day, we need another Minecraft clone on Linux. I mean, yeah.
A Minecraft clone?
Minecraft clone.
Crone.
From the man who came up with horse answer cates. So,
yeah.
But no, I did do a bit of reading into this and actually pinged a couple of people that play Minecraft. And they did say, and from what I read and their feedback, some of the mods for Minecraft only run on version Moon Turbo X Cheeseburger 0.12. And by the time those mods get ported over to the current version, Microjang has a new version out, which is like hit or miss and causes a lot of confusion because people are running servers on different versions. I think this might be fun for if you want to dial it back a bit and go old school and just stay with a stable code base. I don't know. Thoughts, hints, allegations? What's up?
Well, I mean, there's shit like Feed the Beast mod pack, and I know all sorts of Minecraft stuff because my roommate is obsessed with it. But in short, there's shit like Feed the Beast that just basically takes the one version of Minecraft and says, everyone target your mods from this. And Microjang is okay with distributing the Minecraft jar, as long as they actually just grab it from Mojang and they make a bunch of the old ones available as well. So there is that. I don't know. I am, like I said, I'm sort of in agreement with this guy. And whatever. It's open source, so
I'm looking through the folders that they include on the zip file you can download, and it doesn't look like it's running Java, so that's a plus right there.
Well,
yeah, multi-threading.
That's one of the things Microsoft is furiously working on is getting this thing off Java.
onto .NET, which is ported on Linux with their patent promise that they won't sue anyone. We're totally serious, you guys. Totally not going to sue anyone. But before we streak on over to our game review of Action Henk, we have to take some time to thank the fine young cannibals who give money to this show week after week after week. They're the ones making it possible. They're the ones enabling us to pump out all sorts of crazy fucking content for your eye organs and your ear pussies. Tell them about it, Pedro.
Yes, it is Mr. Rudy B. and Mr. Yalin Vinkindo.
They're our newest pats and our nudist pats. Yes.
I probably butchered your name, and I am sorry, but these are our two newest Patreons. I know one of them actually backed us up on our brand new tier, which is the 5 cents. That's that in the US. That's a nickel. Yeah, nickel.
Gets you access to specials 3 days early. That's pretty good. 5 cents a show.
That's the whole thing. I mean, because that's something we have released. I mean, if you come over here and you check out, and it's like, oh, you get a little bit of activity. Oh yeah, how we do? I mean,
for patrons only.
Yes, and you're wondering what that moon thing is. Well, here's the thing, Brad. Here's the thing. We get together and we're going to play starting from Trine 1 all the way through Trine 3 when it eventually gets released in 2045. And it's like herding cats during the week. This is the only time 3 of us ever get together, so doing that an extra time during the week takes a lot of extra effort, then falls on Yara to get all that edited, mixed together, and put up. But don't think we're putting it behind a paywall. All we're going to do is, for 5 cents, I mean, that's a new thing we have, just 5 cents. You throw us that, you can get the videos that we're going to be doing with a Shrine again, and hey, times are tough. Times are tough, man. No, I mean, I completely get it. You're like, hey, man, I don't have 5 cents. And I get that. Totally fucking get that. So, don't worry about it. Give it 5 days. 3 to 5 days, that video is going to be available for public consumption. This is not behind a paywall. It's more as an ad bonus for people who have been supporting us. This is
think of it as early access for LinuxGameCast.
Except it's
just as
actually baked. We'll be doing one of those. This was a special feature. The first one was the first 2 levels, and we'll be doing a level a week after that noise. But yeah, help us out. Anything you can offer, we love it. Mod, what's coming up next, Jay Baby?
Coming up next, we rage quit over milliseconds, literally milliseconds, as we throw our chairs at Action Henk. Coming up next. Wind up your grappling hooks and lube up your butt cheeks. It's time for Action Henk to face the CHAIRQUISITION. It's a game developed by Rage Squid on the Unity engine, although you really could not tell. It's priced to sell at 15 bucks. And what is it? You run, jump, and butt slide in the glorious toy-filled, that's not an innuendo, world of Action Henk. Become a master of momentum and defy physics as you race against the ragged 90s action figures to once and for all prove that Action Henk is the fastest of them all. And it must face the CHAIRQUISITION, so bring it up! 1 chair means that it's crap, 2 chairs means that it's... yeah, 3 chairs means that it's pretty good, and 4 chairs means that it's gonna make my butt flaming with its awesomeness. We also have our categories of doom, make what's with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So let's kick off this ass-tastic review. Then did Action Henk make with the working?
Hypnovid. No, my buddy Cameron came up with a good idea for the chairs, which is just that. It's hard to do it backwards on the camera, I guess. Maybe if you did it that way. It looks like a chair if you hold it to your face organ. Either, but what you're wondering, how does it run? On the Ubuntu 1404 LTS 980 powered 4K displayed box of business right in your face organ. Well, I'm going to tell you, son, it runs out of the box at a steady 9.0 plus. Wait for it. FERPs at 4K. I'm not kidding you. This is a Unity game. That's why you might be fooled. At 4K resolution, no issues. And that's with everything at 11. Now, you cut some things down. It's got a little bit of a meter there. You can go 112, 114, but it never gets anywhere close to like 60. Sorry, console peasants, I know you dream of that, but that's not an issue. It does have one issue that is just a Unity issue with my Moonbat shit display 3, X server, and screen positioning that it doesn't remember. Like, say, I have it set at 4K and I want to go back to 1080p. I got to remember to set it to that, or it'll start up. And, 1080p is one corner of a screen. So, can't ding it a chair. That's just a Unity thing. We'll give it 4 chairs, Brad. Brother Svang, give me the business.
That is astounding. Yeah, no, I did not see it dip below like 100 frames a second with everything cranked up on the Fedora 21 AMD 1090T.
And we spent some time with it.
GTX 980. Yeah, no, we even on multiplayer with like the network shit. Yeah, no, we spent some time with it, and I did not see it drop below 100 frames a second. I'm quite impressed. See, if we can get this level of Unity optimization as the status quo, I would be so happy. I'm just gonna give it 4 chairs. It's awesome.
Well, P-Man, you got to realize that this is a slow-paced game, that action's not important, so it should be not surprising that it's able to perform at that at 4K.
Yes, very slow. It's not like you're running through in front of a highly detailed backdrop that's actually being rendered instead of being just a static picture. But yeah, it looks amazing, and it runs stupidly well on the Amiga with the FX8370E overclocked at 4 gigahertz, and the GTX 970 Strix. It runs stupidly well, always at 1080p, constantly above 120 frames per second. So, 4 chairs.
Yeah, so that's 4 chairs with mixed with the working. Up next is the Shinny and the Signs. Then
Shinny and Signs. This is how it looks. This is how it sounds. fellow members of the CHAIRQUISITION. It's a good-looking game. A lot of work went into the background. That's what P-Man just said, of each level. I mean, there's Easter eggs buried everywhere. I only noticed it because I was editing the video of our players of it, and I was like, wait, there's that thing. But it's kind of brilliant because all of your characters look equally batshit insane. It's lovely. From the guys to the gals to the guy sliding on the dinner plate to Hank with his early access Sonic uniform where his belly's busting through it. And he actually drops rings when he falls. Kind of neat. And when it comes to sounds, everyone has like 3 or 4 verbal taunts, and you're like, oh, that's kind of, until you start playing multiplayer. Then you realize that, oh, I have a taunt button. Then everyone starts taunting each other. So that's kind of amusing for about 3 seconds. Really, that gets old. But if you mix all that in with, shall we say, memorable background music, you end up with something that's a little bit of all right in the shiny and sounds department. The background music, I wouldn't really call it amazeballs. It's not something you really want to put in your ear pussies constantly. But if you play enough of it, you're going to have that damn disco level stuck in your brain organ constantly. So for shiny and sounds, we're going to give that business the 3 chairs, J-Baby.
Yeah, I mean, what little voice work there was okay. And I wasn't really paying much attention to the music because I'm too focused on the level, because you have to be paying attention or else you're not going to get all those good times and beat all your friends and just be comfortable with the fact that you beat Sandy despite the fact that he's been playing a lot longer than you are. But yeah, no, the backgrounds, that is really where the shiny sounds really stands out, because they paid a lot of attention to that. There are a ton of great Easter egg blink and you miss it jokes. I remember one time while we were filming the players for it, I'm like, oh man, I'm boned. And just as I said boned, there was a Jaws poster that just said boned in the background. I'm like, that is fantastic timing. Bravo, Action Henk. 3 chairs.
You say 3 chairs?
Yeah.
As
3.
Boom. All right.
Wow.
It actually does look amazing, and not just the backdrop. While the backdrop is certainly a big part of it, the fact that they can turn the floor to lava whenever you're going on a jump, and the game doesn't fuck up, and it doesn't do the Unity thing where textures start flickering like mad all over the place. That doesn't happen. That was actually genuinely surprising. Good on them for that. But you guys already mentioned the background music. I had to nope it right then and there because
you want to memorize it. It's brilliant in the middle of the day.
No, it's seriously, go on YouTube, go on Spotify, go somewhere.
They have a free demo. You can play it with the Unity engine on the website if you want a free chance to check it out.
Yes, but just find some other really pumped up music, so to speak, to play it with, because their background music's not that good. So it gets -1 chair for that. So 3 chairs.
All right, that's 3 chairs for the shiny and the sounds. And now the controls. This is where the game falls a bit flat.
A little bit of falling apart sauce, my friends. Yeah. I hope you like the default controller layout on your X-Clones, 360s, or anything like that. Because, remappable controls in 2015, because fuck you, that's why you can't have them. And they run away. And Snidely whip Snash and the mustache and all that business. I would cut Rage Squid, the studio that put this out, a bit of slack if it just made the slightest bit of fucking sense with a layout, and it doesn't. I thought it did until I started playing with Jordan. Then we actually loaded the game up and started playing against each other, and that's where I learned that they are a bit rubbish. I had this game since early access from billions of years ago in the future's past. I just adapted to it, and that's not really what one should do walking into this. But however, once you wrap your brain organ around the default madness, that is the controls, you'll find actually the button mashing is incredibly responsive. They did a fantastic job on what is mapped on their spray and pray layout. I mean, that would make Lana jealous. Trust me. So at the end of the day, take that shot. Rage Squid, you released a 2.5D arcade racer with static controllers. And that boggles my mind. And as per the chairs, no remappable controls. In 2015, you lose 2 chairs. You could have had 4, but that's all you get.
Yeah, and I must say this for everyone who's thinking of actually writing or developing a game in the future. Do not, and I repeat, do not put your level reset button directly next to your jump button, or you're going to have a bad time.
Or an angry Jordan.
Yes. Oh, man. So many times. Like, I don't know. I usually expect, like, B to be the weapon, X to be the other thing.
I hate to interject. You realize my clear advantage is having my mind warped around how the controls work.
Yes, exactly. Despite the... Like, everything just seems like someone threw darts at a board and that determined the controller layout. I mean, jump is where you expect it to be. Level reset is X, or B. Grappling is Y, or grappling is X, and checkpoint reset is Y. I don't know, it's all over the place. I would just love the ability to remap the controls to something sane. And I'm not the guy who brings this up. Usually this is Pedro and Men's bag. I usually just deal with the controls. But here is just, it's just miserable. You're halfway through something and you accidentally graze the level reset button and you're like, shit, I just made that jump and now I have to do it again and again and again and again and again. 2 chairs.
Yeah, so here's the thing. After I told X Input to stop listening to it, it actually recognized the NVIDIA controller as an Xbox 360, as games are off to do. And good on the Unity guys for actually sorting this one out. You see, like Jordan was saying, this button right here, the B button, it resets the level.
Mm-hmm.
The A button jumps.
Yep.
X uses the grappling, and Y resets the checkpoint. Now, there are a bunch of buttons like the start button and the back button here, which you could use to, I don't know, reset the map, reset to the checkpoint. You could use those, but no, it's right here. So if you just move your finger slightly to the side off the jump button, you reset the whole damn thing. And it's 2015 now. You're shipping a game without the ability to rebind controls in 2015. Okay, I get that you're trying to, from the way that the UI is laid out, I get you're trying to market this game to consoles. I get that. But SteamOS and the Steam machines as consoles don't exactly offer a standard controller. You can use the Steam controller. That's not mandatory. You can use whatever one you happen to have laying around.
Pedro,
and even the Steam
you got
controller.
to understand there is no viable option in 2013, 2014, or 2015 that could ever be used for free that is not even under the GPL.
It's the zlib license, and it's not called SDL at all. Yeah, that doesn't exist. The hell?
Pedro, you don't understand. Unity input handling is perfect, period. It requires no improvements. If you cannot figure out that screen, obviously, you have some sort of mental deficiency.
Apparently. Yeah.
But anyways, make up the chairs.
It's 2015. You need to let people reassign their controls. 2 chairs.
All right, that's 2 chairs across the board for the controls. And finally, our last subjective category, fun. Lay it on me, Ben.
Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen of the CHAIRQUISITION, let's lay this logic down. Let's get a raw man. Some of you might wonder why after saying, well, the controls are a bit shit, but once you get used to them, but why have I spent 8 hours in-game with busted controls? Simple. Multiplayer is fucking amazeballs. Let's just admit it. It's fun. It's 2.5D track mania, and I seriously, genuinely could not be happier with it. It's awesome. It's simple to learn, fuck all impossible to master, like bowling while sober. Just impossible. I was going to give it 3 chairs. I'm just going to be genuinely honest with you here. But I had a moment the other night on one of the disco levels. If you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. I was placing second or third constantly, and there was like 4 or 5 gentlemen in there, maybe gentle ladies. I don't know. Maybe that's correct. I don't care. But I did manage a near-perfect run, beating everyone by a full 2 seconds. And this resulted in me, a grown-ass man, standing up and screaming, "Fuck you all." I was like, yeah. All right. Apparently I like this game, so I can't give it 3 chairs. I'm going to give it 4. J-Man?
Actually, I think, is this like one of the first games you've legitimately given 4 chairs to in the fun department?
No, I've given a couple of 4 chairs.
Anyways, yeah, no, I didn't really have much of an expectation going into this game. I thought, it's Sonic the Hedgehog clone. Oh man, does it suck you in? My God. You think, oh yeah, it's stupid, and you start playing it, and then you start trying to beat the times, and you're like, God damn it, I see all the improvements I can make. And you just keep going and going and going and going, and lo and behold, like 40 minutes pass, and you're like, where am I? What year is this? Yeah, like Ven said, it is very much an easy to learn, hard to master game, and that is just good game design. Like if you can make it as rewarding for someone playing it for the first time as it is for someone playing it for like the 20th or 30th time, that is excellent game design. These guys deserve a lot of credit for it. It is a very fun game, and you should go buy it. 3 chairs.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I was waiting on, Brad.
Yeah, this game
gotta take
tickles,
the Clarkson breath.
It tickles the side of my brain that wants me to be the best. It's got that leaderboard there, and everyone's apart for like a couple of milliseconds at most.
It's got offline and online leaderboards.
Yeah, I gotta be better. I gotta be better. And like Jordan said, if you look at the replay, if I jump a little bit earlier, I can actually land down on the slide and actually get some speed on the butt slide. Yeah, I can do that. So you try it again, and you try it again, and then you get to the point where you just, you know what? Fuck this shit. And you Alt F4 out of the game, and you get an achievement for rage quitting. Seriously, that cracked me up. Like, it's like, I quit the game, and I see the Steam achievement come up. Achievement unlocked. Rage quitter. Well done. Well played. But yeah, I managed to beat Ven on just about every level that I played. I couldn't, for the life of me, actually beat Sandy on the very first level, like the tutorial. I couldn't. He's got like 18 seconds and 23 or something milliseconds, and I'm like,
had to be.
How did you do that? But as fun as it is, I can't, for the life of me, give it 4 chairs because it doesn't allow people to rebuy their controls. In 2015, that's pretty serious. So I'll give it 3. 3 chairs instead.
So that's 3 chairs for fun, and if we tally that all up, despite the poor score in Control, it still gets 3 chairs, which is pretty good. Check it out, yeah. You know what? It's a little on the pricey side. I would still say it's worth it. It's a great party game. It is a great game to play on your own. It is all around fun. Congrats to the guys who designed this.
Indeed.
They did a damn good job.
So, for our final thoughts, I'm going to say a couple of things. We were mainly talking about multiplayer during that because that's where this game genuinely shines. Outside of that, you probably got to go in 4 or 5 ons of single player, but there's tons of tracks in the workshop. And one thing that really bugs me, and it's something I think P-Man will be able to talk about better. I'm left-handed, which there's no way. Well, maybe. You see that little dot there? That's where I put a pneumatic nail gun. It crushed all these bones, and I have virtually no feeling in my left hand. Guess where butt slide is? Left trigger. So, when I play shit like this, I'm doing it like this because I have to have like a little bit of visual, and there's a bit of delay that gives people an unfair advantage against me because old man cripple. While aesthetically pleasing, this thing doesn't work that well. That's why I wear rings. So when I pick up things, I know it. And when I break them accidentally by squeezing them too hard, I also know it because I'm screaming and bleeding profusely. I've quit doing that later in life. But P-Man has a better idea.
Slightly better or worse, if it were. There's a reason I keep
Put it in your
nagging
mouth.
developers. There's a reason I keep nagging developers about rebindable controls. Because, let's see, let's pick up the NVIDIA controller here. See, I actually don't mind a butt sliding being on the left trigger because I can actually reach it.
Oh, you with your fancy feeling in your left hand. I'm Pedro Mateus, look at me.
That one. But most games, contrary to this one, most games actually have the most important functions on like the right trigger and the right button. I can barely touch those. And it's not the case in this game, but in this game I was actually playing it with the keyboard because I found, hey, it actually makes sense contrary to the controller. But not allowing people to rebind their controls in 2015 is just stupid.
It's discriminatory. I mean, you could even play it because you're Jewish. Anyway, yeah. What's up next?
Up next, more racism, some hugs, and possibly some white power. Very unlikely, though.
Says the man in the hoodie.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we call this segment the hate mail. We're not hating on males, but the three of us, we're all males, and we kind of hate each other. So I guess it fits. So, as a quick reminder, like I do every week, go on over to LinuxGameCast.com, push the contact button on the nav bar, and fill out the form if you'd like to get in touch with us. Unless, of course, you're trying to promote your game, crowdfunding campaign, or whatever it is. Something that you're trying to sell, and you want us to act as the extension of your marketing department. Because if you are, you have to let us play your game.
Well, P-Man, didn't somebody like try to pull that shit on us this week?
Yes, they did. It was from some company that's going to have a Kickstarter coming up soon.
But no, they're special. They were special, and we should make an exception for them, right?
Yeah, apparently, but that was not the case. I sent them the usual spiel, like demo, prototype, alpha, whatever you want to call it. You either let us play it, or we're not going to talk about your thing. And they were like, yeah, we don't want the demo to go public. And I'm like, bitch, we love NDAs. Put us under NDA, let us play your game, and we will be happy to talk about your Kickstarter. We're not going to say the game is good. We're not going to say it's awesome, but we'll talk about it.
We'll say it exists and actually runs.
Yeah, we just want to see it. We want to play
it. That's what you got to do for us, Brad. I mean, it's not moon magic, I assure you. But up first!
Just put it in our face. This is from Satrak. And he wants to talk about love. He says, you guys should consider showing some love mail on one of your shows. Maybe there's also some funny ones, lol. No, there really aren't.
What?
Like real talk? Real talk?
No, I just do like the smacky ass thing every time you talk. I thought that was like,
that reminds me of Jordan before I joined the show.
Yeah, I do like the spank ass quite a bit. No, I mean the positive mail we get isn't really that entertaining. It's more like, oh, you guys are awesome. It's like, okay, cool. We're not going to advertise that because...
I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, take that shot. Here's the thing. Hate mail is feedback. General feedback, anything, thoughts, hints, allegations, and things better left unsaid. Go ahead and send them to us. The reason it's called hate mail is because I'm a f***ing genius. That's why. A. Because if anybody ever wants to actually send us legitimate hate mail, they click contact and like, welcome to the hate mail section. I'm like, oh, but I was going to send you angry things, but you want me to send you angry 14-year-old mind explode.
It's just like that Frozen scene with the shotgun. But up next!
Oh, hell yeah, Jeremy Carter. You may remember him from a couple of weeks back.
Yes, from that game Jeremy... Oh, wait, that's...
Yeah, he's talking about Half-Life on the Pandora, and he's...
Wait. Half-Life on the Pandora, what's that? I never...
It was the fork of an already existing project, which now they are literally attempting to bring Half-Life to the open Pandora portable.
Oh, that's right. And they're
game
doing a
console.
good job of it. They got it mostly done, right?
Mostly that's a stretch.
Okay.
So, speaking of the open Pandora, like I said in the chat room, that's Chat Realm, you heathen, Evil Dragon
Monster,
has
you're
begun
dead
work
to
on
me.
its successor, the Dragon Pyra. And work seems to be progressing far faster than with the Pandora. Okay.
Good. Send us the final version.
All right.
Yeah.
Hang on. Breaking script. Control-C. Dragon Pyra.
The ultimate portable console! Behold as we Google in real time.
Did you not enjoy your first $400 incapable handheld Linux device? Well, we got news for you.
Okay.
Oh, no, it is a decent process.
Cortex
Okay, first of all, it's
A15.
got an OMAP 5 SoC, and Texas Instrument has discontinued their production.
Hey,
it's
hey,
a
I built
Cortex
GCC on
A15.
those, so.
2 gigs of RAM, 720p. Okay, the Pandora was neat in its day. Fair enough, it genuinely was. By the time it came out, however, it was extremely overpriced for what it did. It was a $400 Game Boy. And
And we have phones now.
you got to remember,
right
I
here.
mean, this was like pre-right at Apple phone in 2015. What you do is, if you want a game platform, run emulators in your games and shit like that, you can just stream them from your Steam box and play them on £100 repurposed Note 3 from Galaxy. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
Unless the Pandora guys actually go out of their way and send us, like, I don't know, a review unit.
Review copies. They're going to take a picture.
Yeah.
Of it.
A review unit.
They're
correct it on
going to
time,
write
hopefully.
YOLO swag dragon underscore.
If they send us a unit so we can play around
they'll
with
ship
it,
it with a stale Dorito.
maybe
Yeah.
our opinion will change. But still, paying $400 or $500 for the new one, for a portable console that is about as well, that is far less capable than my $300 NVIDIA Shield tablet.
Yeah, you got to look at NVIDIA Shield. And even last week, Nintendo. The holdout in its white racist ivory tower, which is weird coming from Japanese people.
Totally
even
racist. What are you
said,
talking about?
even said that we're working on mobile games for your phone organs and your tablet organs.
Yep.
So I gotta say, this is an idea that's, well, it's neat, it's impressive, run production and all that, but it's ultimately pointless in 2015. There's not a market for it. So,
Yeah.
J-Man, tell me I'm wrong.
No, I mean, yeah, we have phones here. These are more powerful than most handheld gaming consoles. This thing runs rings around my 3DS for sure. I mean, yeah, there used to be a place for handheld consoles. There maybe still is, but it's a niche market, and don't expect to have lots of games, lots of development on
the
it.
era of the
Up next,
PSP and the DS is gone.
yeah.
Triple
Up
O.
next is from a scripting language apparently.
I know. Storm United, from our white-powered game. He wrote, now, you remember Storm United was a game that all of us played on our inaugural Linux early access, busted access show. Yeah. Boom. Put a bow on it.
No.
So,
Unreal 4 game, it's pretty good.
Unreal 4, they
Yep.
clicked export. Performance was pretty all right. We enjoyed it, but we all had questions like, well, do you really want to pay fucking £20 for something that's eventually going to go free to play? Motherfucker.
So what?
He had
what
to
does Mr.
retort.
Ruby on Rails say?
And he says, the whole point of supporting the developers during the alpha is their freedom to shape the game after your taste, which is exquisite and full of complete arguments. OFC, I don't know what that means. Space, space,
Of
space.
course.
Period, space, space, space. To play a game should be free, comma. To play the game you helped create is priceless.
Oh, it's the MasterCard jingle thing.
Listen, Brad, all I have to say about this game I even wrote them back, and they're like, we're looking for community developer. And I was like, listen, I'm going to point by point lay out everything wrong with what you're doing and how you can fix it, because they're looking for a community manager. And I was like, if you're not smart enough to pick this up, maybe I can help you out on my spare time. Your shit's going to fail. I'm that competent. But it's the business model they have. And from their latest update, their business model is completely not business. You got to be in the business to get in the business. You got to be like Meatwad, and business is good. The latest update, and I shit you not, their theory about how they're going to continue running the servers and keep everything up to date is they're going to have, quote, unmothering quote, temporary weapon skins as a monetization option. And that makes me not even like, you can buy a weapon skin, but it's going to go away in time, so you're going to have to buy it again. And I never heard anything more pants on heads retarded than that outside of the Star Wars Christmas special.
Or our Patreon campaign, for that matter.
Yeah, here's the thing. If they're, and they probably are, looking to compete with Counter-Strike
I tried to compete once.
One.
It was nasty.
Yeah, compete.
Yeah, no, the cleanup took like a week.
Really don't want to deal with it. But yeah, temporary weapon skins, that sounds a lot like what the actual monetization scheme for Counter-Strike Global Offensive is, which is you buy the weapon skins and you can use them indefinitely. They're not temporary.
You can trade them.
That, hey, yeah, and if you're thinking, hey, maybe if we make it temporary, we'll make more money because then people will pay it over and over again.
It's going to be free to play, and the people that are going to play it for free to play are totally going to want to do that instead of just using regular skins and not paying them anything.
They might do that.
I don't know. This guy here must have like rainbows and sunshine flowing out of his ass.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure he's one of the team members.
Yeah, because like the sheer amount of sentimentality here, that it's unrealistic.
The
You're not gonna
only
shape
thing
the game.
on their forums to this day is everyone who's fucked up and bought the game, and it's not a bad game, but everyone who owns the game goes, if you load it, nobody's online to play it, and it's online only.
Yeah, and on that bombshell,
let's cue the music, because you can always find us around 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, unless it's ED time. I don't know what the D means. Maybe it means something sexy. But I'm Vin Stone at Vin Stone Plus. Vin Stone on the G Pluses. What's up, my He-Man?
I'm Jordan Svung. You can find me at The Burning Pool on Twitter, or plus Jordan Svung on the Goggle Plus, and that guy over there in that direction.
All the way across the ocean. I am Pedro Mateos. You can find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter, or plus Pedro Mateos on Google Plus.
And just remember, at the end of the day, take that shot, beautiful party people, and rub some of that heat lotion on your skin.
And on your CPU pins. Needs to trap in all the heat.
Lotion.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Pedro, in your case, that's chlamydia.
Whatever you want to call it.
Just because Nori calls it heat lotion doesn't
just because it burns doesn't mean you can call it heat lotion.
Don't ruin this for me. God damn it.
I love her.
Yellow discharge. Painful yellow discharge.
Heat lotion. With 90% less anal leakage.
5 dudes.